A major storyline came out just a few hours before the Super Bowl, and it was Deebo Samuel and the 49ers are going to be going their separate ways after the season was over. As Schefter points out, Samuel told the Niners he wants a trade, and it seems like the Niners are very much on board with granting that trade. Deebo said this: "It was a hard conversation to have with Kyle because of the relationship that we have, but I have to do what's best. I'm more than thankful for the Niners giving me the opportunity of a lifetime, but now I think it's best that we find another team." So let's talk about the Broncos maybe being that other team that Deebo Samuel could go to. I'll just say right off the jump here, surface level, I like it. We can do a little bit more digging and whatnot, but just, do you want Deebo Samuel on the Broncos? Yes or no? I'm answering yes. I think he fits the mold that Peyton is searching for. You check out the last 4 seasons for Deebo, and he has been one of basically the only effective rusher as a wide receiver. We've talked about trying to find running backs who could be great receivers, tight ends who can help out not just in rushing, but in yards after the catch possibilities, and that's Deebo Samuel in a nutshell. He is tough to take down. He is a yards after contact, yards after the catch monster. He is a great rushing threat as well. Deebo has been the ultimate, in some ways, joker the last couple of years. In fact, I was curious where his rushing touchdowns ranked in NFL history amongst wide receivers. He's first, and it's not even particularly close. Look who's second, by the way. Taysom Hill. Someone who I think Sean Payton had a good connection with. So first all time in rushing touchdowns by a wide receiver. How about rushing yards by a wide receiver? Since entering the league in 2019, he is first. Look who's second. Taysom Hill. So if the goal for Sean Payton is to find his next Taysom Hill, you could find Taysom Hill on steroids. You could find, I guess I can't really say on steroids because that could be bad. But you get the gist, though. You could find a bigger, stronger, more improved version. Hill's going to have that passing threat to his game, but he fits the Joker mold that Peyton has said so many times this offseason he is looking for. This could be a home run. This could be a jackpot. There are some cons to it because of the age, injury factor, contract as well, but can we all at least reach some common ground that if you remove the contract, which I know you can't really remove, but from a player standpoint, this is someone who I think would thrive in Denver. And the more I think about it, the more I talk myself into it. Now, I've got more to share on this subject in just a moment, but I love dancing on the Chiefs' graves right now because I sit directly next to Tyler Jones, who is the host of our Chiefs Report here at Chat Sports. And the moment he walked in today, because I got there early, I wanted to be there when he walked in, plus he comes in late. I was so quick to go, "Teacher, how was that game last night?" And if you want to pour it on right now for the Chiefs, let's outdo them in subscribers for the month of February. Let's beat them in subscribers on this video. Scroll on down, click that sub button down below. So let's discuss the acquisition cost, if you will, for Deebo, because you're not just going to pluck him out of thin air. If the Niners want to trade him, which, listen, sometimes teams put this out there, they want to get a trade done, but if no one calls and gives them a good enough offer, or just really any offer actually, they sometimes have to release them. This happened with DeAndre Hopkins not too long ago with the Cardinals, and he gets cut, he signs with the Titans. So here are the picks the Broncos have to work with. I love to go off of history here, so there is a little bit of precedent for what a older-ish wide receiver gets traded for. Stephon Diggs went for a second in exchange for a couple of 5th and 6th. So Diggs and 2 late day 3 draft picks for a second-round draft pick in 2025. I think Diggs is a little bit above Samuel if I'm ranking wide receiver. So I don't expect Deebo to have the same value that Diggs had last offseason. We can go back a little bit more recent. Devontae Adams traded to the Jets for a 3rd-round pick that was conditional on the Jets making the Super Bowl. Sorry. or Adams make. I'm not even trying to like do a bit here. That's just such an outlandish thing. Or if he would have been all-pro receiver, neither of which happened. So the Raiders gained a third-round draft pick from New York for Davante Adams. So I landed on this. This is on the more expensive end. My gut tells me he's probably going to be more of a day 3 pick guy, like a 4th and a 5th, right? A combination of day 3 picks. But if we want to keep it simple and we want to over budget so that if it's less girl math, it feels like we have more than we had beforehand, here's a rough idea. A 3rd rounder to the Niners for Deebo Samuel. I'll turn it over to you guys. I want you to be the host here. Would you do this trade? Give me a yes or a no down below in the comment section. I want to see which one has a majority because I think the yeses should have it, but I don't expect this to be a 99-1 type of poll. We're going to get to more on this subject in just a second here, but quick shout out to our friends over at ZBiotics. Anyone who may not bounce back after a night of drinking as well as they used to should listen up. Let's face it, when going out, I have a choice to make. I can either have a great night or a great next day. That is until I found ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol. Pre-alcohol is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to drink this probiotic before drinking alcohol. Drink responsibly, and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. So stay in the loop and go to zbiotics.com/chatsports or scan the QR code on screen right now to get 15% off your first order when you use code CHATSPORTS at checkout. I've got 3 bachelor parties coming up, so ZBiotics will be my right-hand man. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/chatsports and use the code CHATSPORTS at checkout for 15% off. Thank you, ZBiotics, for sponsoring this episode and our good times. Now we get to the boring, the mumbo-jumbo, the contract stuff. This stuff is always somewhat fluid, but we do need to acknowledge that it's not easy for the Niners to just trade Deebo, which might lead to a potential release, and then the Broncos can sign him without giving up any draft capital. But the thing I really want to make here, the point I want to make here is a pre-June 1 trade, the Niners pick up $31 million in dead money. There's no savings to be had. Now, if they were to make it a post-June 1 trade, they can take that $31 million and spread it over 2 off seasons, which is what the Broncos did with Russell Wilson when they released him last year. And then they get a little bit of cap savings for 2025. So it's in San Francisco's best interest to make a move after June 1st, but then you're not getting draft capital for 2025. You're getting 2026 and 2027 draft capital. So basically, you don't have Deebo for 2025, and you don't even have any draft capital that you could have used to replace Deebo for 2025. Plus, you don't really see these trades drag out that long. But when it comes to the fit with the Broncos, because the contract stuff, the cap's, it's myth, it's fake. So I'm not going to let the cap purely dictate the possibility of something. Bo Nix needs a safe option. And I think Deebo Samuel could be that guy when it's over the middle of the field. You kind of get like a 2nd and 15. Hey, we want to get 10 plus yards back, make it 3rd and short. Yeah, dump it off to Deebo and he'll do the rest. I was looking at some passing charts and receiving charts just to see how well these two could, mesh and whatnot. On the left, it's Bo Nix's passing chart when they played the Chargers on Thursday Night Football towards the end of the year. On the right, I looked at Deebo Samuel's receiving chart from the NFC Championship game not too long ago. You guys notice anything? I, for one, noticed that a lot of Nix's passes, not every week, but take this week here, a little bit on the shorter end, right? Behind the line of scrimmage, right at the line of scrimmage. And look where a lot of Deebo's receptions start at or behind the line of scrimmage. So to me, this seems like a very good blend, a very good mix for surrounding Nix with talent that leans into his strengths of a quarterback. The takeaway from this is not Bo Nix to check down Charlie, which, hand up, I called him going into the pre-draft process, and I'm very happy to be wrong about because he showed way more arm strength than I imagined, but that's why Sean Payton's in charge and I'm not. So the takeaway is not the check down part, but it's that Bo Nix as a quarterback is not a true gunslinger. He's not Brett Favre. That's not who he's going to be. So don't get him receivers that would fit well with Brett Favre. Get him receivers that would fit well with maybe like Drew Brees. I wonder if Sean Payton has any connections to that. So if you had to pick one move for Denver to make, if you could guarantee one of these three things, what would it be? Deebo Samuel, Ashton Jeanty, or Tyler Warren? Because of their youth, I would prioritize these two things, but you also don't have much, of a say in the NFL draft for what the 19 teams picking before you do. Whereas with the trade, you're not competing with 19 teams picking before you. There might just be a few teams making some trade offers. Here's the ultimate door number 4 answer. I'm fine with double dipping. I've got no issues with going with Deebo in a trade in March. And then when the draft gets here, if Jeanty or Warren is available at 20, take them. I don't think trading for Deebo Samuel should get in the way of drafting Jeanty or Warren just because you feel like you already got your joker. You know what I mean? You already made your big splashy offseason acquisition at a receiver skilled position group. No, Deebo's 29 years old. He's not going to be here for the next 5-6 years. Jeanty and Warren very well could. So I think it's fine to go with both options if possible, of course. Let's play my favorite game right now. Name a random Broncos running back. I usually kind of premeditate it. This time, I'm going to go off the cuff. I kind of want to go older. Yeah, I got to go one. I got a good one. All right, here we go. Ready? You think of one. I'll think of one. I'll count down from 3. And if we say the same running back, let me know in the comments. 3, 2, 1. Monty Ball. Monty Ball, second round pick, almost a decade ago plus. Fun fact, my first month or so, we did an interview with Monty Ball on the channel going into the 2021 season. Yeah, man, time flies. With Teddy, yep. So search that, try to find that, and you can watch me and Monty Ball talk about Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock, and then we debated who should the starting running back be, Melvin Gordon or Javonte Williams, and he picked his Badger Gordon.
Producer Reed popping in real quick.
Uh-huh.
If you said Philip Lindsay, let me know, because that's got to be half the
he's
answers.
going to be the most common one in the comment section. That will do it for us on today's second edition of the Broncos Breakdown. There was too much good, news and rumors out there to just leave it out on the playing field, so had to make a second video on today's channel.